Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, so here it is. I mean, we're in this primary season. Primaries are taking place all over the country. The Democrat Socialist of America are on the move, and they're getting a lot more attention than their true sizes really justify, because the Democrat Socialist of America are much smaller than people realize, but because the media is friendly to them and they have some contacts in certain areas and they have some very good social media management, they get a lot of publicity. But this is Abdul. A little bit of a video came out involving Abdul, which we're going to share here. And, one of the things that the Democrat Socialist of America have going against them, and they're not socialist, okay? They're communist and those who want to bring down the United States, okay, and other things, which we'll cover on the program today. But one of the things that the Democrat Socialist Communist of America have going against them is they're a social media generation. And they're all like the Truman Show, right? Everything they've done has been posted on social media, sometimes in video. So we get a lot of information and things about them from them. Things they've said, things they've written and posted to social media. Or in the case of Abdul here with this latest video, a video outtake from something he was filming. And this is Abdul and his wife, and they're filming something in his home, in his living room, and he doesn't want whoever is holding the camera, he doesn't want them to film the books that are behind him.
What's the other one?
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot.
Oh, okay.
I just want to wait in on it.
Okay, so you don't want to get these things in the shot. And while some of it is, blurry, you can make out what some of it is. But I mean, look at this. He's very casual about it.
What's the other one?
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot.
Oh, okay.
I just want to wait in on it. Try to keep the shot secular.
Try to keep the shot secular. That's code language. I have a lot of books in my house. My wife and I read. There are no books in this house that I would not want filmed. You come to my house, there's books all over the place. I've read some. My wife's read some. Some of them we've both read. And there's certainly nothing there that we want to hide from cameras. And, I have all kinds of books. Like my, right here I use as a shelf for my phone, for taking live calls underneath the phone, just to prop the phone up. I have a Stephen A. Ambrose book on Lewis and Clark, Undaunted Courage. I have all kinds of books around. But these books, here he said, keep it secular. The guy behind the camera said, secular. Listen.
What's the other one?
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot.
Oh, okay.
I just want to wait in on it. Try to keep the shot secular.
Try to keep the shot secular. So the ones that we can make out clearly the titles, all right, I have here and ready to go. And we've got the Quran there, of course. But there's 3 other books there that we can make out the titles of, okay? And excuse me for mispronouncing some of these words. I don't speak Arabic, and it's English is my first language and my last, okay? I'm not very good with the foreign languages, but that's okay. I only need to know how to speak American Standard English. Here's one of the books he didn't want shown that's on his bookshelf. A Treasury of Hadith, which talks about Islam from the great Hadith master, and it goes on to some things like that. Okay, so that's one. Oh, by the way, there's a couple Qurans up there, of course. I'm talking beyond the Qurans, what he has up there. A Treasury of Hadith is one. Informant, a true story. And this is about a whistleblower with the food industry. Okay. And here's another one: the medical marriage, sustaining healthy relationships for physicians and their families. I guess, I don't know, maybe he's got a little marriage counseling going on there. But if you look at this, and this video was broken by the great Laura Loomer, mind you. Okay, so Laura Loomer, always on top of things.
And the other one.
You're gonna want to not get these things in the shot.
Oh.
Okay, and you can see we've got the Quran, a commentary on the Quran, the book of, I can't write, Iman, whatever this is. They're all mostly some other Arabic writings over here. The reason he didn't want to show these books, while there's a couple of liberal books like this food thing and this marriage, the doctors that have marital problems book, the medical marriage, most of these books are about Islam. And he doesn't, and I know this will sound crazy to some of you, but let me explain. Those that are supporting and are working with Abdul here actually believe, I know this is nuts, they actually believe he could be president one day. They plan on running him for president. I know that sounds nuts, but they are planning on running him for president. He was born here in the United States, so he is a natural-born U.S. citizen, so that makes him eligible to run for president. And I'll tell you, when AOC was first elected to the House of Representatives, I said on this program, you guys can go back, I said this many times, people laughed at me, I said they're grooming her to run for president, AOC. It's true. They even had a Disney television series about the first Puerto Rican-American Hispanic female president, and it was the female Hispanic president in the White House, and then it would flip back to when she was in middle school, and she would remember her days in middle school. And I told you guys, that is about AOC, right? And by the time she's old enough to run for president, because AOC wasn't old enough then, the middle school tweens will be old enough to vote. And here they are talking about her running for president. They're thinking the same thing about Ahmed here. They're thinking about running him for president. As nuts as that sounds, but you got to understand, they're in a bubble. And in their bubble, everyone loves the Democratic Socialist of America. In their bubble, everyone loves Muslims in power. In their bubble, everyone loves Ahmed. They're out of touch with the pulse of the American people. That's why there's 3 new polls showing that Mike Rogers is beating him since he won the primary. And he's on a victory lap, and he's losing in 3 polls out of Michigan, statewide polls, okay? And that is what their plan is. I'm going to go through some more things about him and some other clips. A lot of things are coming out, and I am not all that worried. I know a lot of people are panicking. I'm worried. I'd be very concerned if we didn't have Donald Trump as president, because I know, this country is a MAGA nation. I know it doesn't seem that way if you go by the mainstream media, but the MAGA movement is larger than ever. And when I saw that there's 3 polls showing Mike Rogers beating him in the latest statewide polls, that gives me a lot of hope. Also, the fact that the Democrat Party spent $60 million in the primary trying to defeat him, which they were unsuccessful with doing, but that's okay. We got the statewide race coming up. That was a little bit of a different thing, and he lost the black vote. He lost everyone outside of the Muslim community and the colleges in Michigan. Outside of the Muslim community and colleges, he did not perform well. Lost key demographics that Democrats count on, and the Democrats spending $60 million to defeat him shows that even the Democrat Party machine do not want him to win. So that's why I'm not panicked, but I am concerned. It's okay to be concerned and not panic, because if you're panicked, you make rash decisions and do things wrong. If you are concerned, you can make rational decisions. But this guy, this clip that the great Laura Loomer has uncovered and released of him hiding this bookshelf, What does that say about him? Why, do you have books in your home that you would not want people to know about? And that doesn't mean you can't have books in your home that are written by people who disagree with you, right? I mean, if you're a well-read person, you read all kinds of things, right, to find out what the other side thinks. And like for example, I have I don't keep, my wife and I, we don't collect books. A lot of people do, right? There's some books I keep. Like I've got a great biography of President Kennedy called An Unfinished Life I keep. Does that mean I'm a Democrat? No. But see, here what Ahmed's doing here. This is his living room. And even the furniture doesn't look American. Doesn't it look like a Middle Eastern bookshelf? These are books that he puts on his bookshelf in his living room to show off to people who come over. This isn't just like some books. Like I have some books here. I've got books all over the house that I'm in the middle of reading or in the beginnings of reading. This is a display of personality, right? He wants people who come to his home to know that he's got all these Qurans and all these other books about the Quran. They're kind of like, like we have like Bible study books or something, right? These are Quran study books. These are all books that he has on display that are part of the decoration of his home and also to establish who and what he is to those who visit. And he doesn't want those books shown to the public. What does that say about him? That tells me that he understands, and the people on his campaign understand, that being Muslim is not popular in this country for people that are running for office, especially big offices like the United States Senate. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is, of course, where MAGA comes to talk. Now, here's a clip. This was a roundtable. Okay, and we've got Ilhan Omar, Tlaib, and Ahmed right here. And I don't know what all this Arabic writing is, but this is another thing that people have found out. This is from some Muslim website. I don't know what website it's from. But this is a roundtable of Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Ahmed with some other Muslims. It's literally a roundtable meeting because the table they're sitting at is round, and they're talking about Muslims being elected to the government here in the United States. Listen.
What does this moment mean for you all?
We all are the trailblazers, so let us know how it's done.
When Ilhan and I first got elected, there were some folks saying, we want more Muslims to get elected. So
who's saying that? Who's saying we want more Muslims to get elected? Muslims, that's who's saying it.
What does this moment mean for you all?
We all are the trailblazers, so let us know how it's done.
When Ilhan and I first got elected, there were some folks saying, we want more Muslims to get elected, so maybe, don't tone it down. I know, I was trying to be nice. And she made a note, like, since we've gotten elected, since 2019, 200 Muslims have been elected across the country.
Okay, so, yeah, I know. Now, that could scare the hell out of people. 200 Muslims have been elected around the country. There are over 400,000 elected officials in the United States, between 450, 500,000 at local, state, and federal level, okay? So we've got between 450,000 and 500,000 elected officials. We've got 200 elected out of around 500,000. So that's not that many.
What does this moment mean for you all?
We all are the trailblazers, so let us know how it's done.
When Ilhan and I first got elected, there were some folks saying, we want more Muslims to get elected, so maybe, don't tone it down. I know, I was trying to be nice. And she made a note, like, since we've gotten elected, since 2019, 200 Muslims have been elected across the country.
Wow.
So we think about that for one moment. Is this the incredible movement? I know we were just part of it. We weren't the reason, but I think it's given a lot of people strength to be unapologetically themselves and really lean in and who they are and not shy away from that. Growing up, I didn't know when somebody was Arab American until they came to our community and said they were. And now, it's kind of cool that our kids get to see people of their faith. And like Ilhan always says, they can see themselves in government now.
So I got to grow up watching Rashida be an elected official. Yeah. All right. So Rashida's like my older sister. Every time I make a mistake, I just get the text messages like.
Okay, so that every time he makes a mistake, I'd like to know what those mistakes are and how far do they go back. So what I'm telling you is that defeating Ahmed is highly likely based on all the polling data that we're getting out of Michigan right now. And they don't have these Democrats, Socialists of America, and these Islamic candidates that hold views that are foreign to the American people they're not popular at all. And you can see that by everything I've shown you right here in the last few minutes. One, there's only 200 elected officials that are Muslim out of about 500,000 in the United States. Okay, and many of them are at very local levels, city councils, town councils, and things like that, school boards and stuff. So, and he's hiding all of his Islamic books in his house when they come over to film with him and his wife, because he doesn't want to seem religious, even though his wife is wearing all the traditional Muslim clothing. So what I want to tell you guys is, it's not too late to stop this movement. They have not taken over like they want you to believe, and what they're trying to do is convince you that it's over, that we've been overrun, that we've been colonized, and there's nothing that we can do about it. This group, the Democrats, Socialists of America, and the Muslims they have inside of them in their movement are so tiny that they could not even exist as a third party, and they've wrangled their way into the Democrat Party, and it's given the illusion that they're an actual movement, and they're not a movement. Okay? And that's why we can defeat them now, because they're not a movement. In fact, Democrat Socialist just lost a primary run out in Hawaii. It's in the news this morning. You may have seen it. And Hawaii is one of the most liberal states in the union. We don't really look at it too much in politics, but that's where Obama claims to have been born. So people look, it's very liberal out there. And the Democrat Socialist just lost the primary to the regular Democrat out there. So even in a hardcore liberal place like Hawaii, they lost. All right. So you don't want to have a defeatist attitude. And I'm listening to what so many people are saying and looking when it comes to Ahmed and everything else. They think we've been overrun by Democrat Socialists and radical Muslims, and that is not the case. It is a tiny, tiny little group. And if we swamp them at the polls, we will win. This country has gone so red, so MAGA in the last few years. It really, truly has. I mean, you look at everything President Trump went through, right? How many court cases? They had like 5 court cases. They arrested him like 3 times. They shot him. They broke into his house and all of those things. And he was still able to come back for a non-consecutive second term. So the point I'm trying to make to you here is this. The Trump viewpoint is the viewpoint on everything that's held by the vast majority of the American people by far. This Democrat socialism is not popular. It seems like it's popular because they have the media on their side. They've infiltrated the Democrat Party. They're very good on the social media, right? And it seems as if it's a popular movement, but it's not. If it was a popular movement, they would run on their own party instead of running on piggybacking on Democrats. And they're going to have some victories in November because some of them that won primaries, like in New York, are running unopposed. But Ahmed here not only can be defeated, he will be defeated. And if you notice, there's been a big change. Mike Rogers and others, there's a big movement in Michigan now for Democrats to either vote for Mike Rogers or just not vote at all. And when we can keep Democrats from voting Democrat in any way, shape, or form, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. So don't panic, but we've got to, and because panic, they want you to panic. They want you to feel defeated because they think it could depress our turnout. If we have a turnout like we did for the president's reelection in 2024. Remember what the campaign slogan was in 2024? It was swamp them at the polls, right? In so many ways. So it's important for you to get out and vote in your primaries. Here, early voting has already started here in Florida. I'm going to early vote. And the reason I'm going to early vote is because the president tells us to, right? In 2024, he told us to vote early. It's very important to vote early. And you might as well start in the primaries so you can get used to it. It's super important to vote early in the November election. And I'll tell you why. The Democrats' entire strategy for many, many years has been an early vote strategy. Turn out to vote on the early vote. Our strategy, is we have rallies and everything, but it's been almost like a badge of honor in the past among Republicans, MAGA Republicans. This changed in 2024, okay, because the president changed what he was saying about it. But before 2024, it was almost like a badge of honor for those of us that are Republican, those of us that are MAGA, to say, I vote on election day. Well, the reason you want to vote early and start doing it in your primaries, because you want to get used to it, and take your friends and go and vote, because the entire Democrat strategy is around the early vote. On election day, they already have millions of votes already cast. So we've got to catch up and surpass that in one day, and that's when trouble happens. So you want to vote early, wherever you have. Like early voting just started here in Florida yesterday, and I'm going to early vote either today or tomorrow, okay, in the Florida primary. And I encourage all of you to do that. When it turns to election day and the Democrats have already millions of votes cast, we've got to catch up and surpass them in just a single day. That's a pretty difficult thing. I mean, think about it. If it was a race, right, a foot race like in the Olympics, and you're at the starting gate, but the opponent is coming up to the finish line, it's very difficult to catch up at that point. So make sure you vote early, even in the primaries, just so you can start to get the habit going. And make sure that everyone in your family and your friends go out and vote too. And get them to vote early. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people between now and November, because I'm going to be talking about this voting early. Anywhere you have early voting where you live, you want to vote early. Primaries in the general election in November. Now, you're going to see a lot of people in my chat room between now and November say, don't vote early, don't vote early. When you see people say, don't vote early, they're either liberals, okay, that are being honest about being a liberal troll, or fake MAGA. And we learned that in 2024, and MAGA realized, hey, voting early is what you got to do, because we can't catch up and then surpass them on just a single day and expect to win everything. That we've got to get our early vote game going, okay? And you will see a lot of people in my chat say, don't vote early, I vote on election day. If they tell you they're conservative, they're fake MAGA. I'm telling you right now, fake MAGA encourage people not to vote early. Now, I got a lot of things I want to cover here on the program, and you're welcome to call in if you'd like. The number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And one of the things that shows how much trouble they're in is James Carville. This is James Carville with McEnany on Fox, but James Carville is a top guy in the Democrat establishment. I know a lot of people don't think that because, he's always in these hotel rooms doing these weird things on Zoom and everything else. Sometimes he's in a bed in a hotel room wearing a bathrobe and things. I saw him one with an ice pack on, So people see a lot of things like that, and they figure he is a top guy in the Democrat Party establishment, okay? And he has the ear of important people in the Democrat Party establishment. And when you have someone who's worked his entire life, like James Carville has done, getting Democrats like Bill Clinton elected, and they're talking about leaving the Democrat Party because of this Islamic Democrat Socialist of America, you know they're in trouble. Remember in the first campaign, President Trump said, if he said it once, he said it 10 million times, say what you want about Democrats, but they always stick together. Well, that's no longer the case. And there's a major civil war and divide going on. Listen to this. This is McEnany with Carville on Fox.
Or anything bigger than mouth.
Well, they should take in, really your wisdom on how to win in Democratic politics. You did get Bill Clinton across the finish line after all.
Yes, he did.
On that note, you say you're a political animal. You just want to win races. There is a race Tuesday.
Right.
Francesca Hong has a huge lead. Here's Francesca Hong.
Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities.
Oh my goodness.
So I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve.
I mean, James, she says Thanksgiving's now her favorite holiday, but I imagine you don't like that as a political operative, that quote.
Look, I think that the progressive left, they're very tech people. I think they've come up with an AI random stupid idea generator. And I think the stupid idea generator can think of things that humans can't, like canceling Thanksgiving or being against interracial dating. So I'm just waiting to the next stupid idea AI generator that comes out, spits out of that. It'll probably go through the humanities faculty at the University of Wisconsin before it actually gets put in a candidate's hand.
Okay, yeah. This thing about Thanksgiving. See, this is, why they don't like Thanksgiving. And the Democrat Socialists are, one of the things is against Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I know they have a version of it in Canada, but it's not the same thing. In the United States, Thanksgiving is a uniquely American holiday, and it's a very special holiday here in the United States. And it's a holiday that everyone celebrates. Everyone. It's also a Christian holiday. It's an American Christian holiday, right? A uniquely American Christian holiday because I know they in the secular, godless public schools, they tell you that the Pilgrims were thanking the Indians for getting them through the winter. That's not the case. They were thanking Jesus, and they invited the Indians over to convert them to Christianity. But Thanksgiving, out of all the holidays, Thanksgiving is the one holiday all Americans celebrate. Even new Americans celebrate Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a great American holiday. It's always a 4-day weekend, because it's always on Thursday. Not only does everyone celebrate it, everyone's family gets together on Thanksgiving all over the country. And it's one of the few times each year where the entire family of every group get together at the same time, right? People get together on Christmas, but not everybody does Christmas. Everyone does Thanksgiving. And the reason that the Democrat Socialists hate Thanksgiving is it's a uniquely American holiday where every American, and even people that are new in the country, even the illegals, celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't know what it is about Thanksgiving. Everyone does it. And the communists, the Democrat Socialists of America are communist, okay? And they don't like people getting together on Thanksgiving. If you remember a few years ago, the Democrat Party, it's been a while. Obama may have still been president when this happened. It may have been in Trump's first term. I can't remember. Maybe you guys do. But remember the Democrats were putting out material for Thanksgiving to try to get the liberals to a Thanksgiving dinner start arguing politics with their family members and calling out their Trump supporting. It might have been during the first campaign, calling out their Trump supporting MAGA family members and calling them out at Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving dinner is not just a time when family gets together, everyone's family, because everyone in America celebrates Thanksgiving. People get together and talk. And I remember one of the things I got, Thanksgiving, sometimes at Thanksgiving, it's a time when you see people that you only see once a year, every 5 or 10 years. And I remember I got together during one of the Thanksgivings. It was either when President Trump was first elected the first time or during the campaign. I can't remember. And I was surprised at how some of the people in my family that were MAGA, because they either never were involved in politics or interested in politics ever, but they were for the first time and they were going for Trump, or they'd been Democrats. And when I say family, I'm not talking about like immediate family, because in immediate family you share a lot of views. I'm talking about cousins and uncles that I very little, and I was in shock, and that's why the left and the Democrat socialists hate Thanksgiving so much, because when everybody in the family gets together on Thanksgiving, we're going to talk about how terrified people are of Ahmed and these Democrat Socialists of America, and how many people in the family love Trump, and that's what their big fear is. That's what they don't want. But I'll tell you, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, wait till you hear this. Got something else on Ahmed you will not want to miss. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk, no doubt about that. If you're new, welcome to the program, and make sure that you subscribe. And if you have not done it already, please like the video, guys, those of you watching on YouTube, because when you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So make sure you guys like the video, all right? I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. On the line, we have Frank. He's a listener, and he's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Frank, welcome. So, Frank, could you tell me how Jupiter Joe Thomas helped you?
What he's advertising today and putting out there is a fantastic product for people like me, and there's millions of people like me that want a good, sound investment, and they want a good, sound, caring, loving investment advisor, and that's Jupiter Joe. He's in the business for like 30 years, and he knows his business. Him and his family make you feel so comfortable. You sit down, and he gives you a real full analysis of what's going on and what he has to offer. And I got into these income streams, these streaming products, and I jumped on it right away. And when he told me what I'm going to get, and I'm getting it right now, and on one of them, I was amazed. He doubled what this other so-called investment advisor was offering me, and I'm jumping for joy.
Do what Frank did. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas right now. Schedule your no-charge consultation. Talk to Joe Thomas about annuities and be guaranteed income every month for the rest of your life. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999 and online, jupiterjoe.com.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, and this is the Brian Craig Show, where MAGA comes to talk. That Bible study is a great Bible study. The link is in the description. Make sure you check it out, okay? And it's put together, that Bible study, by someone who's a listener and watcher of this program. So I'd appreciate your support of them and their Bible study. They're supporting me. Again, the Bible study link is in the description. Okay, so here's the second MAGA president, J.D. Vance, and he was over on Fox talking about Ahmed there with McEnany as well.
Pay that guy much mind. The problem with El-Sayed is that he is a person who claims to stand for working people, and yet he opposed Donald Trump's policies that have quite literally saved the Michigan auto industry. This is not a guy who wants a prosperous economy where auto workers and everybody else can actually raise a family. ideally on a single wage if they so choose. What he is actually trying to build is an economy where you tax some people, you give it to Democratic Party favored interest groups, and that's just not how you create prosperity. You create prosperity by actually rebuilding the middle class in this country, rebuilding the industrial foundation of middle class prosperity. So, of course, he's going to make personal insults. He's also gone after my kids. He's just kind of an odd guy. But I think that it's telling that instead of talking about what he wants to do to make the lives of Michiganders better, he takes personal insults at me. I'm the vice president. It comes with the territory. I think the guy's crazy and would be a terrible senator for the people of Michigan. We're going to make that case, and obviously the people of Michigan are going to make their vote.
Yeah. So the vice president said Ahmed's crazy. I'll second that. Would you? He's crazy. And he's also stupid. Right? If you listen to him talk, he's not that bright, right? He was bashing that one town in Michigan in front of a camera. Oh, my goodness. That didn't go over well in Michigan. Ahmed has, there's a few things they're doing here, okay, with him, and they have a few goals. One, they most definitely believe that they can run him for president one day because he's a U.S.-born Muslim American, right? And the left, the Democrats, the biggest problem the Democrats have throughout their entire existence of their low-life party, because there's never been a point in American history where the Democrats has been anything other than terrible and evil, right? From the slave owners to the Civil War. Okay, remember the Confederates, all Democrats, so they could maintain slavery and all that. There's never been a period in American history where the Democrats were not evil. They are evil, devilish, demons. That's why we call them Democrats. Democrats is very accurate, okay? So the Democrats have always been evil, but they're, one of their biggest problems is they have boundary issues, and they don't read the room very well, okay? So Zohan, through all kinds of things, got elected as mayor of New York, and they took that as, well, America's gone Muslim now. They have no problem with it. They don't analyze how he really got elected in New York, which I'm not going to get sidetracked in now because I don't want to talk about Mamdani right now. But you guys know. I don't have to go through it all. And so they've hit pretty hard this Democratic Socialist of America rhetoric and the Muslim angle when it's not popular at all. And because of their boundary issues, they overplayed their hand and have freaked a lot of people out for very good reason. Now, now another thing here, this is another clip of our second MAGA president. At least it looks that way right now, the Vice President, J.D. Vance. This is the Vice President in the Oval Office the other day. And one of the things that low-life evil people do is, and this is what Democrats, most of their tactics are based around dividing people. Like the reason they want to cancel Thanksgiving is because it's a uniquely American holiday of unity. People get together. The Democrats are always about dividing people. Black against white, straight against gay, gay against trans, women against men, Christian against gay, gays against Christian. They're all about dividing. Democrats don't like people united because when people are getting along, they become united against the Democrats. And they've been trying to cause a divide between President Trump and J.D. Vance. Oh, he's against everything Trump's doing and all of this, which is a false narrative. He supports everything the president's doing. And this is one of the Oval Office press conferences this week. A reporter asks J.D. About this, and J.D. feeds it right back to him.
I know what you're trying to do, Phil. You're trying to drive a wedge between members of the administration, between me and the president. What the president said consistently, going back to 2015, and I agreed with him, is that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. We have taken this military action under the president's leadership. I think all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should pray for a success and pray for the safety of our troops. That's the approach that I've taken. Make it as successful as possible.
So there's no hesitation, given your past statements, with the current operation?
What do you mean there's no hesitation with my past statements?
Given your skepticism of foreign countryism, you were a critic of the global war on terror previously.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents. And I trust President Trump to get the job done, to do it.
Yeah, President Trump liked that. He was smiling. In the past, we've had dumb presidents. Now we got a smart one. How can you argue with that? And he's very good with these haters. And you see how they, through their questions, they try to get these false narratives around. But do you know who MAGA is most upset with in this country? Who do you think? Who are we most upset with in the United States? Who do you think? Thune. Yeah. Thune, who's a traitor Republican. Remember, rhinos are Democrats, and Thune has held up the Save America Act. I mean, there's no getting around it, right? The Save America Act would have been the law of the land months ago, and he's held it up. Now, he's going to pay dearly because when the new Congress comes in January, the Republican majority Senate will choose a new majority leader, and it's not going to be Thune. And Mike Johnson has passed the Save America Act, 3 times, 4 times? He put it in this budget bill, which avoids the fake filibuster, which is just it's not a law. The filibuster is just an excuse. And still he won't do it, and he wants to send everybody home on vacation, and then he does it. So, Thune is the biggest villain in the country right now, more so than any of these Democrats, isn't he? He really is. And the Save America Act, though, they still are panicked. Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, you can hear the panic in her voice talking about the Save America Act.
This president is trying to push this SAVE Act, which basically would require that for people to register to vote, you're going to have proof of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like with everything else. What can you do and where can you go without having to show ID?
This president is trying to push this SAVE Act, which basically would require that for people to register to vote, you're going to have proof of who you are through a passport, which a lot of Americans don't have.
Not through a passport.
Or a birth certificate. Same point.
Every American has a birth certificate. Okay? And if you can't find it, you can have it sent to you in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, kind of like when you go to...
give me a break. You go online, couple minutes, it'll be at your house the next day if you want it, right? On our MAGA cruise, we had a guy, he couldn't find his birth certificate, his passport expired. He got it all done in 1 week. It could be done. They're in a panic, and why are they so panicked about ID? Here in Florida, our driver's licenses now show that you're a U.S. citizen or not. It's right at the top of the driver's license, which is really cool. But even though we live in who would be against ID? You need ID for everything, right? I had to show ID yesterday. I went to the gun range. They asked me for a driver's license or I couldn't go out on the range. Isn't that crazy? Why did I have to show ID? And they try to make this thing that minorities don't have ID. You know who was at the gun range? There were non-white people, believe it or not, out on the gun range. Yeah. And they had to show ID too. And they didn't hesitate. Oh my goodness. You've got to show ID. The Democrats want you to show ID for everything, right? To shovel snow in New York, to shop at Commie Mamdani's commie grocery stores, you got to show ID and proof of residency in the city of New York. You've got to show identification for everything other than, of course, voting. I wonder why that is. Oh, my goodness. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm live every morning of the week, Monday through Monday, right? 7 days a week. I'm live here on YouTube. And if you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. And if everyone could please like the video. When you guys like the video, that helps so much spread the word about the channel. Because when you like the video on YouTube, you're getting the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video, guys, if you don't mind. But there still are, believe it or not, idiot liberals. Listen to this girl. She's so stupid. This woman here, she's a liberal. Listen.
MAGA, you're terrified that Muslims are going to be taking over America and you're going to have to wear a burqa and a hijab, right? Like all the women. Because another religion shouldn't tell you what you have to do with your body, correct? Right? Almost like Christianity shouldn't tell me what I should do with my body. Almost like just because your religion thinks that abortion is schmurder doesn't mean mine does. Actually, the Jewish religion is pro-abortion. So what are you guys talking about? You guys love Jewish people, don't you? So, what? Yeah, it's not fun when another religion gets to tell you what you can do with your body. So, anyway, I can't wait to see you in a hijab.
Can't wait to see you in a hijab. Judaism? What did she say? Judaism says abortion's okay. I missed that part. Thou shalt not murder is part of the 10 Commandments, which is in the Old Testament, right? I call it, volume 1. There's volume 1 and volume 2, right? The Old Testament and the New Testament. So I don't know what she's talking about. And, I tell you, and she's wearing, it looks like a college sweater. I know. She probably vote for, she's a nut. In Saudi Arabia, men cannot enter the home unless there's another male in the family home, right? And you may say, well, that's fine. Why are men coming into the house if there's not a man home? Well, that applies when an ambulance comes. Grandma's had a heart attack, right? She's home with her daughter. They call the paramedics. The Saudi Arabian paramedics arrive, okay? They can't enter the home if there's not a male member of the family home. Meanwhile, grandma's in the house dying. That's true. That's how it works. So So this girl here, I don't know what she's talking about. She's so stupid and brainwashed. She thinks she's actually going to be liberated if we turn the United States into a Muslim-dominated country with Sharia law. Now, if you're just joining the beginning of the stream here today, I shared this video. This Laura Loomer uncovered this, and this is Ahmed in Michigan, and this is his wife. Okay, and to that girl, that college girl, about abortion there, his wife is their religion tells her what she's got to do with her own body, which is wear this particular clothing. But this is an outtake from a video he was making, and he tells the camera crew not to film the books that are on display in his living room.
And the other one.
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot. Oh, okay.
And see what we got here? The Quran, some other Islamic books. Here's a study of the Quran. All these Muslim books. He doesn't want people to see them.
And the other one.
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot. Oh, okay. Try to keep the shot secular.
Yeah, and keep it secular. Let's not let people know what he is. Oh, my goodness. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you had a Republican, right? If you had a Republican and you were over at their house and there was an outtake from a commercial and they were telling people, make sure you don't show any of this in the video, which is like the Bible. Don't show the Bible. Oh, my goodness. They would be all over them. Now, this really, this story here, this is a new trend that we're starting to see more and more of, and it's becoming more and more common, actually. Look at this. Jill Biden's former press secretary, lifelong Democrat, Michael LaRosa, has endorsed Mike Rogers for the Senate over Abdul. Isn't that something? I mean, and this guy's a hardcore liberal Democrat. He worked for the Autopin's wife, Jill Biden, and he's endorsed Mike Rogers. That tells you the civil war that is going on inside the Democrat Party and how Democrats are panicked over the Democrat Socialist of America and Abdul in particular, because they know what the future, if Abdul were to get elected to the Senate, what that would mean for the country. And I mean, he is a very prominent Democrat. And, for him to do that could cause a lot of bridge burning for him in his personal life, because there's a lot of Democrats that, hey, listen, you cross the blue line, you're working with the other side now. And for a Democrat to come forward and say, hey, I'm voting Republican, that takes a lot of guts. And anyone who does such a thing is someone we should support. I don't care if you work for Joe Biden. It takes a lot of guts to do what it is he just did. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I got a lot more to cover. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, okay? 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Steve. He is a listener and client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He took my advice. He went to see Joe Thomas, took advantage of that no-charge consultation. Steve, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities.
Matter of fact, 3 years ago to the day, my mom passed away. And it's when I found out that my mom and dad left me, my brother and sister, a nice inheritance. And when I heard the advertisements on your show, I said this would be a great investment because I retired 25 years ago, 2001. And I got a good pension. I'm a retired police officer. But 25 years later, that pension does not buy anywhere near what it bought 25 years ago. I heard about Joe and how I could increase my income with these annuities. It battled the inflation because my pension was just not buying and taking care of me as it did 25 years ago. And Joe and his family, his daughters and his son, they were so nice and accommodating, and they asked me what my goal was, and my goal was specifically to get a monthly mailbox money checks from these annuities. And the second thing was to leave a nice inheritance for my kids like my parents did for me. And he was great. I can't say enough about him.
You did something with your inheritance so few people do. Most people get that inheritance. They buy a new car, they buy a new house. You got it in annuities, and now you've got that guaranteed income each and every month for the rest of your life.
You got that right, and I'm telling you, it's a godsend. I can't thank Joe and his family enough.
Well, listen, give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. Take advantage of that no-charge consultation, just like Steve did. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It is the Brian Craig Show. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And everyone, please like the video. All right, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Doc. What's up?
Hey, man. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well.
Okay. Hey, look. Yesterday, I was just reading something yesterday that I know Hunter said that his dad is not doing good. The cancer spread all over his body.
Yep.
And
I saw that.
Trump, first of all, I'm praying for him and his family. Trump made a meme about him. And I think Trump needs to hold off on those memes about Biden because he needs to hold off on it. If the man is going through something right now, just hold off on it.
I remember, when the president was in his first term, okay, and Amy Coney Barrett almost killed the president. She gave him COVID, and the president was in Walter Reed Hospital. And he was much. We've learned since that he was much sicker than we knew at the time. And I remember when President Trump was in Walter Reed with COVID in his first term, members of the media on CNN and others, anchors, were out there blaming him for getting COVID. Oh, his weight. And all these things, saying terrible things.
That was wrong.
And then you've also got people like Comey and many other Democrats that continue with this 86-47 business constantly. So I don't understand. I'm not finished speaking. I don't understand this double standard you have. You want to first off, you want to respect the presidency, but in the same breath, you attack it.
Fine. Fine. I did not say anything. If Trump is sick, I'm sorry that he's sick, and I'm sorry that he's sick. I'm not attacking him because he's sick.
I mean, Biden's people tried to. Biden's people tried. Excuse me. Biden's people.
Excuse me.
No, excuse me. Biden's people tried to put President Trump in prison, and they shot him. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry that President Biden has cancer. I wish him well. But this all of a sudden they want you to have this respect for presidents that they don't show for this guy. Now, this is Ted Cruz, who's pretty awesome. This is Ted Cruz on his podcast. He has a podcast. It's called Verdict with Ted Cruz. And he's talking about, the Muslim Brotherhood and what this country is facing right now.
Abdul El-Sayed, his father-in-law, is a senior figure with multiple organizations affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay. The Muslim Brotherhood's a terrorist organization, okay? There's no doubt. It's just no debate about it, right? It's a global Islamic terrorist organization. So his father is affiliated with this jihadi organization. Come on.
Abdul El-Sayed, his father-in-law, is a senior figure with multiple organizations affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood.
His father-in-law. Think about that. Imagine if there was if Mike Rogers, if his father-in-law was affiliated with a terrorist organization. You don't think that would be considered something of importance?
He campaigned alongside Hassan Piker. This is the radical, left-wing, America-hating radical who said, and I quote, "America deserved 9/11."
And by the way, not only did he say that, but the candidate was given multiple opportunities to denounce campaigning with the individual who said that America deserved 9/11, did not denounce him, and apparently is continuing to stand beside him and campaign, I guess, with him moving forward.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of these clips of Hassan Piker, and I've known about him for a long time, and I remember it was a year and a half ago when he was abusing his dog on his live stream. Remember, with the electric shock? I mean, he's a terrible person. But I've been hearing clips of him every day on social media. Hassan Piker, he says some of the most vile, disgusting, racist things I have ever heard a human being say about women, about Americans, about white people. He's like a Klansman, but a Muslim one, right? I mean, the things he says are just hate. Not just offensive, but hate, racist, sexist, just terrible things. Anti-Semitic. I've never heard such ugly speaking. And I see how these Democrats are climbing over each other to get him to speak at their event and to get his endorsement. Is Hassan Piker, are his views and opinions the average Muslim American's opinion? Or Muslim opinion, and we're just hearing it in English for the first time? I don't know. But I do know this. He's one of the most hateful people I've ever heard speak. I'll tell you one thing I'm really tired of is this racism from the WNBA. The WNBA believes that basketball for women is only for women that are not white. They don't like white girls playing in the WNBA. And, the WNBA has been around for a long, long time, and it's been a failure. And now they have a couple of star players, and it's becoming relevant and actually commercially viable, possibly, for the first time in its history. And they're trying to stop it because the two star players are white girls. And now the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, they want to bring in biological men to come into the women's league. And some retired NBA stars have come out and said, well, they identify as women when they're playing basketball. And I'll play one. This is Royce White, and he played for the NBA. He was a first-round draft pick, and he's going to go out for the WNBA draft. And, of course, I support him doing this.
Oh, earlier this week I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable, but I'm a team first guy. You know, I'm a pass first kind of player. I do the little things. You know, I led my team in all 5 major stat categories at Iowa State University. So I do a little bit of everything. I'll do whatever the coach needs me to do. I'll do whatever the girls need me to do. I think the WNBA could come out and make a definitive statement about guys with a pair of balls playing in the Women's Association. But you know, hey, that'd be probably too much like right. So
yeah. See, you know, this is a great thing, and there's a couple other guys that are former NBA players that are talking about the same thing, because what it does is it shows the absurdity of it, right? The total stupidity of it. There's women's sports for a reason, so that women and girls have a place to go and play, that excel among women in whatever their field is, whether it's swimming or basketball or tennis or golf. And what you have with these transgendered players and all of these instances, it started with the swimmer, is you have cheaters. They're not good enough when they play with the boys or on the men's team. They can't rank. They don't perform well. They're losers. They're ranked in the 2s, 3s, 400s in the rankings. So they're cheaters. So they all of a sudden say that they're transgender, they go on the girls' team, and then all of a sudden they're breaking all the world records. They're just cheaters, is what they are. And it's absurd. And it just, frankly, it's just stupid. It just is completely stupid. And these NBA players going out for the WNBA is exactly what we need to help show the absurdity of the entire thing. Now, one of the things that's really, you know, Tucker Carlson, did you see he did this one-on-one interview with Hunter Biden? You would not catch me in a room with Hunter Biden, and I certainly wouldn't, you know, if he used a microphone in my studio, I would never use that microphone again. Would you want to put your mouth in front of a microphone where Hunter Biden's mouth had been? Oh my goodness. I'd feel like I'd catch some disease, some condition, right? But there's just certain kinds of people that you don't pal around with. And one of those is the kind of person that Hunter Biden is. And I don't mean just because he's struggled with drug addiction. A lot of people struggle with drug addiction. But his treatment of women, you know, prostitution, women do not choose to be prostitutes. It's not like in the movies, okay? That's a myth. Prostitutes, especially the upscale prostitutes that he has a history with, they're sex slaves. They're sex slaves, you know? And for him to have spent so much of his life with these, with these high-level sex slaves, high-priced sex slaves, that's just the kind of person I would not associate with. But I'm not Tucker. But Tucker, he's out there with this third-party thing, and on his show this week, let me pull this up. He called Trump homicidal, who's incapable of leadership, and a mistake that people make with Tucker is, and the media help with this because they misrepresent Tucker. Tucker was never MAGA. He never was MAGA, okay? He's always been critical of Trump. His father, remember, is a lifelong CIA guy, and he's now part of probably a deep state operation, but the purpose of the third party that Tucker is launching here, look at him here with, could you imagine, would you use a microphone that Hunter Biden had his mouth in front of like that? Oh my goodness, that microphone would have to go in the garbage after that. I'd have to destroy it. I wouldn't feel safe talking into a microphone that Tucker's mouth was near. The purpose of Tucker Carlson and this third party, it's being presented as, well, this is a party for MAGA people who feel betrayed by President Trump. That's nonsense. It's a disruptive party designed to defeat future MAGAs. See, they believe, and he's with the Uniparty is who he's really with, the Deep State Uniparty. The Uniparty is an affiliate of the Deep State. And he's been born into the deep state since his father was a CIA officer his entire life. But what Tucker Carlson's third party is not about winning elections. It's about stopping MAGA Republicans from winning elections in the future, including, like we were talking about, J.D. Vance being the second MAGA president. They're going to run people that they say are the true MAGA, right, with this America First line that they've created, that they label themselves with, and they're going to run them for president, whether it's Tucker or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Massey or some other person. They're going to run them in certain key states to take votes away in those states from whoever Trump endorses moving forward. And not just in presidents and Senate races, House races as well. It's a party meant to sabotage the future of MAGA Republicans. That's the whole purpose about it. It's not about character or, MAGA was lied to and we're the true MAGA. We're the America First people. It's not that at all. It's about one thing and one thing only, and that is stopping the MAGA movement and paving the way for the Uniparty to get back in control of the situation. All right, now, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I got so much more to cover, all right? My name is Brian, and, of course, this is The Brian Craig Show. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, guys. We'll be right back.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At Laporta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
All right, now, those of you that are Medicare recipients, listen up. And this goes for those of you that are receive Medicare benefits no matter where you are in the United States. I want to talk about Chapter. Chapter... if you call the number I'm going to give you in just a moment, it's also on the screen and in the description of the video, you'll speak to a licensed Medicare advisor. And what they will do for you at no charge is review your Medicare policy to make sure that you have the policy that's right for you. And make sure you're not paying too much if you have a supplement or if you even need that supplement. They cover all 50 states. And because Chapter is a national company, they have access to all of the over 25,000 Medicare policies out there. So they will compare the policy you currently have to all the other 25,000 plus policies there are to make sure you are in the right policy. It costs you nothing. And if the policy you're in is the right policy, they'll let you know that too. So give Chapter a call, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033 for Chapter. Again, the number's in the description of the video. It's also up on the screen. All right? Okay, if you'd like to call in, please feel free. The number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. What's your max bench?
My what?
Your max bench.
You mean like weightlifting?
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. Okay. Max bench. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The definition of a man, I guess, is what he can bench. So, there was another. There's been a couple of assassination attempts recently of President Trump, and one of them was an Iranian plot to bring down the new Air Force One. Remember? And it was when the president was in Turkey. Turkey borders Iran. Remember this? He had to fly in the old Air Force One because there was this Iranian plot to bring down the new Air Force One. And the New York Times had a leaker that reported some security classified secrets about the new Air Force One. Well, the leaker's been caught. And it was Joe Biden's Air Force Secretary. Yep. Air Force One leaker identified, and it was Biden's Air Force Secretary. He actually leaked security information about the new Air Force One. This guy, they took his security clearance away. This guy needs to be arrested, charged with espionage, and maybe even treason. You know, that plane not only carried the president of the United States, but also senior cabinet officials, Marco Rubio, and I think the Treasury Secretary was with him as well. Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy. And this guy leaked out information while there was an assassination attempt by Iran or a plot against the new Air Force One. This guy needs to be arrested. He needs to be charged with espionage and God only knows what else, and in prison. And I hope they're investigating him to find out what other classified intel that he has leaked to the press. Pretty crazy, isn't it? And they feel so entitled in doing these things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is John from Wisconsin.
Hey, John. What's up?
The goofy guy that asked you how much you could bench, you should have said like a Glock 43. I can bench press that. No
I got,
problem.
I got to tell you, I went to the gun range with some friends yesterday with my Glock 48. And
well, you got a Glock. I knew you had a Glock, but
I've got a Glock 48, and I love that gun.
Okay.
I fired off, I don't know, maybe about 100 rounds out of it. But
Right.
One of my friends, he brought an AR-15, and I shot the AR-15 for the first time in my life. I fell in love with it. I got to get one.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
It is.
They're awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Who
Yes,
needs
I
the
did.
bench when you got a Glock?
Two of them.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. So
What kind?
as far
I
as
want
the
you to think
thing,
about this. What kind of guy asks another man how much they bench? Is that like a pickup line
I
for the
know.
gays?
I almost fell over. Yeah, when he said that, I'm like, what in that? Where did that come from?
I guess he's, looking to hook up, but you're.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, there you go.
All right, man.
So, all right, Brian. Yep. bye.
Appreciate the call. Well, listen, those of you that are new, anytime I'm in the studio, I take live calls, right, on the program. All the calls are screenless and unvetted, and all opinions are welcome, okay? No one answers the phone. When you call in, I just put you on hold, and I don't know who's on hold until you hear me say, what's your name? Where are you calling from? And then you talk, and then I know who it is, and that's how we do it. So, so every once in a while, we'll get a bit of a control that'll show you and prove to you that indeed the calls are unscreened and unvetted. So here's Mike Rogers and his wife, and this is going to be the new wave of things to come in this Democrat Socialist of America run for all these seats around the country. This is Mike Rogers. Listen.
If you're among the majority of Democratic voters that woke up on Wednesday feeling, well, hopeless, because the person who won does not represent your values, well, just know there is still hope. Michigan deserves a senator who is ready to sit with you, hear from you, and represent you. The parents across Michigan who want an education system that sets up their kids for success, you have a home with us. To grandparents across Michigan who are heartbroken from watching their kids and grandkids leave the state, you have a home with us. To young people who are looking for real solutions to solve our housing affordability crisis, you have a home with us. To working families who don't want higher taxes and lower paychecks, well, you have a home with us. And to the vast majority of people across Michigan who do not want to throw their support behind a campaign filled with anger, divisiveness, calls for violence, and the views that are out of touch with your values, well, you have a home with us. The fight is far greater than just left versus right. The fight is for the very soul of our nation. Over the next 90 days, I'm going to work hard to earn your trust, to earn your support, and earn your vote. We have a state to save, Michigan. Let's get to work.
Yeah. And, and President Trump really, Detroit's in Michigan, okay, for those of you that are liberally impaired. And President Trump's bringing the American auto industry back to the United States. I mean, this is, Ahmed, he really is uniting people against the Democrats, right? He's like kind of like he's a counter-uniter for the left, but we're getting a whole bunch of new people. Now, this video, let me pull this up. Hold on a second here. Hold on. Okay, now, the latest Polymarket, let me pull this up. The latest Polymarket shows Byron Donalds has a 98% chance of winning the Republican gubernatorial primary. Early voting has started. And, if you remember, I guess it was Thursday, James Fishsticks came out and made these allegations that Byron Donalds was under investigation by the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice came out over the weekend and said that's not true. There is no investigation going on to Byron Donalds. And, the media, when Fishsticks came out, there was a lot of media coverage of the investigation. I haven't seen anything pointing out that the investigation is not happening and that it's not true. Have you? Haven't seen a single report of it. And that story has even completely disappeared. I was looking through the Florida news this morning, and on Friday, because I talked about this on the morning show on Friday, the Florida news was all about the Fishsticks press conference. They dropped it like that. It's like it's disappeared from things, which shows you that it's not, on top of the fact that the Justice Department said it's not true. It's one of the most low-life things I have ever seen happen in politics. But the Democrats are in big trouble. Here's President Trump. And this is a very, very significant clip that not a lot of people picked up on the importance of it. Listen.
Do you, MAGA Inc., the super PAC that your allies control, has a lot of money and a lot of people?
Not my allies. I control it.
Okay. You and your allies.
$800 million.
Are you?
Okay. So all of these, I'll play the whole clip of the president because what he says here is important. But the left, the Never Trumpers and the left and the Uniparty have been trying to get this false narrative going for quite some time that MAGA's over, Trump's not popular. How have they raised almost $1 billion, MAGA Inc., if everyone's turned on Trump and Trump's not popular? The people that donate money don't donate to losers. That's why the Democrats had to mortgage their office building to try to stop Ahmed from winning. They had to think about it. The Democrats mortgaged their office building to try to stop one of their Democrats from winning the primary, Ahmed. And here we have, President Trump has almost $1 billion. And that's not all the money the Republicans have. That's just one fund, MAGA Inc. If he was not popular, if his support was not strong, if the donors did not view the future as a country run by MAGA, they wouldn't have donated nearly $1 billion to MAGA Inc. All right? That's better than a poll, actually, that they've raised so much money.
Do you, MAGA Inc., the super PAC that your allies control, has a lot of money and a lot of people?
Not my allies. I control it.
Okay. You and your allies.
$800 million.
Are you going to spend it?
It's funny. Nobody ever, of course, I'm going to do.
You're going to spend it in the midterms.
I could spend it on pretty much anything I want. I'm going to spend it I'm going to help Republicans.
This midterm.
And so when you say I don't care.
No, I didn't say that. I said some people say that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I could do a lot easier. I didn't have to be away in Nevada yesterday. I didn't have to be in Los Angeles yesterday making speeches. I didn't have to be supporting all the people. I have I have a busy schedule. I said to somebody, wait a minute, you don't understand. I won. I'm not campaigning. Now, that's the other thing. I get a tremendous vote. I have records in many of the states, the most votes ever in Texas and Florida and many, many states, Alabama. You can go through them, many, many states. The most votes ever. The question is, and they're asking this question, and I've had some great polls recently, real polls, but they're great polls. If I don't run, will those people go out and vote? And that's the one thing I can't tell. I'm going to ask them to, but I'm just watching guys like you, and you're very talented people. The question is, will they vote? Because a lot of them are very angry at Republicans, to be honest with you. They're
Why is
angry
that?
at I don't know.
Because the Republican establishment have stopped the Save America Act. See, Trump and his policies are incredibly popular. You know, the Republican establishment being unpopular is because they're not doing what Trump wanted them to do. Now, another story here, and this is one that really just is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen come out of the Democrats, and this is the ballroom construction. Okay, they got some other judge, some Obama judge. You got to halt the construction of the ballroom. Now, first off, it's all been torn down, the East Wing. But this is what they don't understand. This construction project is not for a ballroom. Okay? The ballroom is a cover story. The real reason is to rebuild the bunker under the White House. The White House has famously had a bunker underneath it that they put in when Truman was president, when the nuclear age began. The bunker was under the East Wing, but it was built like in 1951. It is out of date. It wasn't deep. It was very small, and it wasn't up to the new tech, right? Internet, all these different things. So the purpose of the construction has nothing to do with the ballroom. The ballroom is just a cover story. This was not supposed to be publicly known, but it is now. They're building a new bunker where the entire government can be run underneath there now. And some of the things that have come out, as an example, in the ballroom building, there's a hospital being built. You don't build hospitals in ballrooms. That's a hospital in case of a military action. A drone airport was one of the things that's being built on the roof of the ballroom. And there's a lot of other things, too. This is about a new bunker for the president and the entire government to run with the newest threats that are out there, not something that was built in 1951. And they're building basically a military base of the most high-tech weapons at the White House. And the ballroom is just a cover. And, you know, what's particularly disgusting about it is everybody knows this, especially the people in Washington. This is not a secret anymore. Everyone knows this. And they're still working hard to try to stop it. And President Trump is not even going to get much use of it, right? This is for mostly future presidents by the time the entire thing is done. Now, it'll look done on the outside, but when they're still doing work deep down underground. But the construction has not stopped regardless of what the judges said. There's a lot of classified work being done, the underground work, and believe me, that's continuing. It has not stopped. And, you've got these activist federal judges that are working so hard to stop this new bunker and military base from being built at the White House. I've really never seen anything like this. I mean, we're in a place with the Democrats where they just don't see the world clearly anymore. Their Trump derangement syndrome, it certainly is a mental condition, but it's a condition that's based on the worst emotion of all, which is hate. And they hate President Trump so much that they just can't see straight. Now, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I've got some more. Don't go anywhere, all right? My name is Brian. If you're new, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe, okay, if you're new. And everyone, please like the video. When you like the video, it gets the program and the video recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. So please like the video. We'll take a quick break, and I got a lot more to cover when we get back.
I'm in the Jupiter Joe radio studio sitting down with Joe Thomas. You know, Joe, a lot of seniors, they're getting their Social Security. They're retired, but not really. They're working a part-time job, maybe even a little bit more than a part-time job. But there are some instances where people think they have to work an extra side job, but they don't have to, right?
Yes, a lot of people don't understand that you need to put all your money to work for you. That means the savings account, the checking account, the emergency fund. Take that money, turn it into an income stream, and that's what we do for clients. We'll take a lump sum of money, say $100,000, and you'll get another $700 or $800 a month, where maybe you don't have to work that part-time job anymore.
Call Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation. And when you do, you get a free copy of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. The number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. All right, we're back, guys. Welcome. Again, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please do me the favor of liking the video. Okay. So we've got this Ahmed guy who's just said crazy things on video and on audio, and pretty much everything you hear about him are things in his own words, right? And people ask me a lot, when did we win the war with Iran? Like it's these liberals. We won the war with Iran on day one when we killed the Ayatollah Khomeini on day one. But for Ahmed, that was not a good day. Listen.
Again, this is going to destabilize the region. I also want to remind you guys that there are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today. Mm-hmm. So, I just don't want to comment on Khamenei at all. I don't think it's worth even touching that.
Wow. He already said, listen.
Again, this is going to destabilize the region. I also want to remind you guys that there are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today.
Who would be sad over the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini? That's crazy. One of the biggest enemies this country has faced, and in my lifetime for sure, right? That's a real scary thought. So his constituents, the people whose votes he is after, are people that were mourning the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini. It's hard to believe these things are even true. It's so crazy that even Jake Tapper on CNN asked him about it.
20 weeks ago, when Iran's supreme leader was killed, you told your staff, according to audio obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, quote, there are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today, so I just don't want to comment on
the audio I just
Khamenei
played
at all, unquote. I thought that quote was interesting because the Ayatollah has killed tens of thousands of innocent Iranians, not to mention the proxies that Iran has funded that have killed innocent civilians all over the Middle East. Why were you worried about offending people who support the Ayatollah?
Good question, Jake Tapper.
Jake, on a day where we're mourning the loss of 2 more service members in a war we never should have fought, I think all of us ought to step back and ask whether or not everybody in Michigan, frankly, everybody in America, shouldn't be sad about the fact that this president, backed by the prime minister of a foreign government, took us to a war we had no business fighting in. So yeah, I didn't want to comment on it then because it's a ridiculous pretext. And now you're asking me about the Ayatollah, who's dead, by the way, and you're not asking me about the service members who've died. You're not asking me about whether or not this war should have ever been fought. You're not asking me about whether or not the costs that are being borne by Michiganders in the tax dollars we pay or the gas prices that are insane right now are worth it. And so, look, let's have a conversation based in Michigan. I'm running for Senate in Michigan. And I think here...
He doesn't want to talk about that tape, does he?
In Michigan, all of us are probably sad about the fact that we went to war that we never should have fought. I'd rather our money be spent here.
I was specifically asking you about comments you didn't want to make because you didn't want to offend people in Dearborn, which is in Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. The last thing he wants to talk about. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, happy Sunday to you and your family. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Brian, sometimes I listen to you and I feel so sorry for you, man. I mean, it's like you're like you're on a man on an island by yourself,
yes,
screaming out there the truth, and these ignoramuses that are out there. The media feeds them, TikTok feeds them, the college communist professors feed them this garbage, and people say, well, they're young. The Democratic Party. The people under 30 years old that are voting for this communist crap that's going on and they're so against President Trump, they don't know any better. They're so ignorant. And when people make excuses for them, it gets me crazy because in World War II, you had people 16 years old trying to get into the service because they were proud of the United States. They knew what they were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are out in the street agreeing with the Nazis.
That's exactly right.
They're poisoned, and President Trump happens to be the greatest president of all time, and it's not because I'm saying it, it's because I do a little homework, and I watch, and I've seen other presidents throughout my lifetime, and I do my homework, and I see what's happening here, and for the media and these young people that are voting communist, and they make excuses for it, and poor Brian's out there every morning fighting. He's like a guy on a beach throwing out wood, and it comes back at him because.
Well, and I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm watching like on Fox, and when they talk about Ahmed, right? They talk about him. Well, he wants to defund the police, and he wants to open the border. They talk about him like he's a regular Democrat, as opposed to what he's really about.
They're all hiding it. They're all hiding it, and I see cities in this country turning. It's not a matter of people coming into an area and then, assimilating into the area, the Muslims. I mean, I've seen complete cities go to the toilet where they're actually announcing they're going to take over the country.
Yeah.
The biggest I'm going to tell you something. Lou Costello was born in Jersey. He's the town right next door is Paterson, New Jersey. They changed the main street to sign of Main Street in that city to a Palestinian name. They worship terrorists. It's like you're in a foreign country, and right next door there's all sorts of American flags. Clifton, New Jersey, they're American patriots. It's just a stark difference. These people, it's not like in the old days where in Little Italy they went down and they stayed there and it's an Italian section. Yeah. They didn't try to take over this. They didn't try to take over the city. They wanted to assimilate.
I'm sure you've seen that video of those guys that were dressed up like in Dearborn, dressed up like Hamas in those like black uniforms. Scare the daylights out of you. Doing those weird marches in the streets, and I mean, it's scary.
Yeah, we're living in a crazy time where we're letting people like this into government, and we're forbidding this, and we're actually thinking that this is normal. It's not a gay pride parade out there anymore. No. It's more than that. It's a takeover of the United States. And I believe this next couple of elections, if we don't turn it around here and get people to understand what they're voting for, they're voting not what they're voting against. Your hatred for Donald Trump shouldn't make you want to vote for Nazi communists. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, you could hate President Trump as a human being. You could tell you, but all his policies are not they're for the United States. So you all ought to get over this crap. Stop watching TikTok and believing what you're hearing because you want to hear it. If you're under 30 years old and you can't buy a house, just listen to Brian, what he had to go through to get a house and how much he worked. You're not going to get it by the government giving it to you.
And they say, oh, we can't afford houses. Well, that's not true. Houses go up in value. My mother has a house in a nice area of Fort Lauderdale. She bought it a long time ago for less than $60,000, right? And then my house cost a lot more than that, and it's nothing like my mom's house in the kind of neighborhood my mom's in. Prices always go up for houses. They can afford. But to afford a house, you got to get a job. You got to work.
Yeah, you got to show a work history.
I mean, look at me. Here I am on Sunday morning. I didn't take the weekend off. Here I am Sunday. This is my career. It's what I do for work, right? So I mean, come on. You know, this is not a hobby. You've got to work, and you got to work hard.
Well, you have the biggest temptation of all because you don't have to get out of bed. Yeah, I mean, literally, you could say, I'm not going to go today and go on the
Yeah.
No, but you don't because you got to feed your family.
Exactly.
You got a mortgage payment or whatever.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, my mother passed. My mother died like 13 years ago, and she was 103 years old. So when she died, we had to sell her condominium. She paid $9,000 for a condominium that sold for $101,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you say, everything goes up. People, you're not going to walk into Boca West. That's a very rich area. People.
My wife and I, the first house we owned was a condo. We had a condo. We paid $50,000 for it. We sold it for we paid $50,000 for it. We sold it for $112,000. I mean, we more than doubled our money.
That's what's called capitalism.
Exactly.
But you know what? With this new system, that's not the Democratic way of thinking. Their way of thinking is you buy it for $50,000 and then we take it over if you can't do certain things that they push on you.
Exactly.
They force you to do things. So in other words, and everything is ridiculous. People better wake up and free America. Free America. If you want government in your life, man, you're just going to be miserable because they're not going to give you anything.
Exactly.
And it is, and the system, and we're not all equal. I'm sorry. I mean, Brian's one thing. I was a bus driver. There are people that are plumbers. There are people that are college graduates. They're scholars. I'm not equal. Well, none of us are equal. There's smarter people out there than me, and there's dumber people out there than me, and so we're different. For them to say we're all going to get the same of this and the same of that is insane.
Exactly.
It kills all incentives to go and push yourself. If you're sitting back waiting for a government check, why would you get out of bed?
Exactly.
But guess what? They're going to tell you how much they're going to give you. You have no chance of actually getting out of a situation because you're going to be getting just enough to live on. Food stamps, housing, all that crap. Listen, some people need a little help, but not a lifestyle.
Well,
not a
you know,
lifetime,
listen. There's when you talk about the younger, you know, like the guy. You hear some of them call me, right? These younger guys, like the bench press guy earlier. These are guys that don't leave their house, and they don't ever want to leave their house. They live in that world of Wall-E. They do everything. And you guys may say, well, you work at home. I'm 55 years old, and I've built a career. I didn't always have to. I was not always blessed to be able to work at home and have a studio in my house. You know what I mean? You know, but you have to build up to that. And what they want to do is they want to get their first job making 6 figures a year, having the house, having the big car, and they don't want to work. I used to work for free when I first started in broadcasting. Literally, they called it an internship. You know, and I gladly did it. Exactly. And they just they want you know, it's like everybody's got that one bum in the family that won't get a job because he wants to get hired as the boss.
Yeah, the meathead.
You know? Yes, exactly. Meathead, exactly. Always in school. Exactly.
Never come out of school. One degree after the other and can't get a job.
Exactly.
I mean, it's insane. What people don't realize is that Brian is not just what you see him on the air. Brian spends a lot of time trying to get sponsorships because, you know, you don't go on the air for free. They're an independent broadcaster.
No way.
Him and Steve are independent, so they have to pay the radio station, and they have.
Well, you don't know what our arrangements are, but yeah, you know, it's.
No,
I don't do this for free. No, of course not. Of course not. No,
Brian sometimes gets off the air and right away has appointments with
all the time, pretty much every day.
And then he's got commercials that he's got to do, and he does everything himself. So you know, it's a one-man show basically. Steve is older now, and Steve is blessed by having Brian. You know, so. But
you gotta. The Gen Z generation are really the laziest generation I've ever seen. I know everybody thinks that the generation after them is lazier than the one before, but this is just a generation of sedentary people. You know, like I give you an example, like the guy, you know, you hear me talk about the guy that asked me about bench pressing. You hear me talk about in one of the commercials I do how I don't exercise. To me, the gym and exercise are for people that have too much time on their hands. You know, and I don't if I have time to go and walk or jog or exercise, that's time I could be working. You know what I mean? That's just for you know, people that have too much time on their hands.
For the most part, you're right. Although I just had to get a new air conditioner, and the boss pulled up in a beautiful new pickup truck, and he's only 42 years old. He's built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, good-looking young man, and 42 years old. And I asked 2 of his work installers yesterday, and they said he doesn't have to work anymore. He's got like about 35 trucks.
Yeah, but he's still doing it.
He killed himself in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do any more installations. They say he comes around to collect checks and make sure everyone's doing their job. But he worked his behind off before that.
Exactly.
You know, I told you about the World War II young people. Okay, compare them with what you just said. The laziest generation. They built this. They called it the greatest generation because not only, 17, they had work ethic. They really worked. And the excuse is, I can't find a job. There's no jobs out there. Oh my God, there's YouTube. You could do anything on YouTube if you have any kind of brain.
That's right.
The guy, one of the followers of Adam LaWoo. You know who I'm talking to? He went to and he was crying. He has his own website. He says Adam LaWoo. He's like semi. He's not all there upstairs in the head, but he's created a YouTube channel and makes money off of it.
Who are you talking about?
I forgot his name.
Tell me a little bit about him.
He's a little short guy, fat in the face.
Micah.
He was crying.
World of Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works. World of Micah. He has a full-time job. He plays the John Belushi Blues Brothers at Universal Studios in Orlando. It's his full-time job.
No, that's not him. That's not
Micah?
him. This guy don't live in. This guy. No, this guy lives out of the state. He's got a crazy name. I think in Turtle. No, it's not Turtle. The guy is he looks like Lou Costello, and he's bald. He says if it wasn't for Adam LaWoo, he would have never gotten this far.
Yeah.
He had a girlfriend.
He's
got a girlfriend.
I know who he guy. The something of Venice. The guy from Austria, from Germany, right? He has an accent?
No, it wasn't. No. He's American. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh.
But the guy, literally, the guy is. I hate to say the word. I think he's a little slow, though. I mean, and yet he's created because anybody could make money. So to sit home and become a communist and listen to people tell you, well, if the government is against you, Donald Trump is this and Donald Trump is that. Fascist,
Yeah.
and then Jews, and the Jews, who are such a small majority of people in the world, control everything. And it's all their fault. You're not doing well. It's all your fault. And they're killing all these people in Gaza and everywhere else. They're just a big problem.
They hate. Believe it or not, as the Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, they hate Jews more than they hate Trump. As crazy as that sounds,
I know that
it's crazy.
And they hate Trump because he likes. They have venom in their bodies. I mean, it's really America. What happened? And from now on, I'm not going to feel sorry for you though, because it's not much. You know what you're up against, man. I mean, you're up against. No matter what you tell them the truth, they call up and they get a different reality than anybody with a brain.
That's true.
And I just don't get it anymore.
That's true. All right, Richie, take care.
Well, have a great day.
All right, take care. Now, if you'd like to call in, if you're watching live, of course, the number is pinned in the live chat on YouTube. It's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call no matter where you're tuned in from. And again, the number is pinned in the live chat. So let me get back to Abdul and what's going on. And let me just review a little bit what I started the stream about. Then we'll get to some more things with Abdul because there's a lot to share with him, and it's important to point these things out because he is a very, very bad guy. Let me cue up some audio here. And by the way, guys, if you could please like the video if you've not already done it. When you like the video, you get it recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video if you don't mind. Okay, so Laura Loomer, who's amazing and gets all kinds of great information, uncovered this video, which is an outtake from some kind of campaign video or interview, something that Ahmed was doing in his home. So in the video here, you've got Ahmed in Michigan with his wife. And listen to this outtake.
And the other one.
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot.
Oh, okay. I don't think we did. Trying to keep the shot secular.
Okay. So what he doesn't want shown is he's got a couple of Qurans, a book that's a study of the Quran. He doesn't want any of these Islamic books to be shown on the camera. And he's trying to pass himself off as something he's not, which is a secular person, and that's just not the case. Now, I want to go through some audio and video that involves him. This is Summer Lee, who's a congresswoman, Democrat congresswoman, and she's talking about what Abdul will do in the Senate.
Who care and to build our future with us, like Abdul, who will go to the Senate and say that, no, Donald Trump don't need to come to ask us for permission for a war or for a genocide. He needs to come for his impeachment.
Wow. Yeah, that's all he's running for? He doesn't have like an agenda? Now, this is really strange, okay? Summer Lee's in the car. The reason I play that is so you can understand who this is. This is a campaign event, and they're in this van. You'll hear Summer Lee talking in the van. She's talking to Ahmed and Hassan Piker, and they're talking about October 7th, which, of course, was the Hamas terrorist attack on the music festival in Israel, right? So it's Democrat Summer Lee that I just played that clip from. She's in the van. She's talking to Hassan Piker and Ahmed.
We go into these places, and this is no excuse. We go into these places. I remember the days after October 7th. It was very few of us who were taking that stance. Like early days, like on October 7th, when we were like, oh, we can think about what will come next, because we've seen what's happened before, and we know what happens when like the president uses dehumanizing language, and even just to try to like steer people away from dehumanizing language. It's 6 of us. 7 out of 535, right? That's not easy. Like, it is choosing to be uncomfortable every single day. And that is our responsibility. It is, right? Don't get me wrong. I was
Okay, so a couple things here. She's saying there's 6 Muslims in the Congress. By the way, it's 535 members of the Congress, right? 435 in the House, 100 in the Senate. But you notice how their take on October 7th, the victims of October 7th are Muslims. In their viewpoint, right? And Ahmed's agreeing with this, Hassan Piker's agreeing, and Summer Lee's saying it, right? The victims of October 7th are Muslims. They think they're the victims, not the girls who were raped and murdered and all of that. They're the victims. They're out of their minds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Michael from Michigan.
Michael in Michigan. What say you?
Yeah, I was just going to talk about the midterms and
Please
the
do.
Mike Rogers race. So it seems like the Republicans are not running on anything that's substantive. It's not about policies. It's not about what they've completed so far. It's not about what they're going to do for people. It's all about he's Muslim, he's Muslim, he's Muslim. He said this about 9/11. I mean, shit, Trump said about 9/11 that the Trump Towers are going to be the tallest buildings in New York now, while 2 buildings were being crumbled to the ground. So it's just like these antics might have worked for Trump 8 years ago, but it's not going to work now. People see right through it, and it's not going to end good for Mike Rogers. He's going to lose by double digits.
So you're comfortable having someone elected to the Senate who's running around with someone who said America got what it deserved on 9/11?
Okay, well, that part that Hassan Piker said, he came out and apologized for it.
Yeah, because he got caught.
Not only did he apologize for it, he put it into context and said what he meant by that was saying that our aggressive foreign policy in the Middle East led to 9/11. That's what
Also,
he
it was
meant
our
by
fault.
it.
Do you know why the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor? Hold on, let me answer these other lines while I'm, Well, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Did they just do it randomly? Hold on a second. Do you think they just randomly decided to bomb Pearl Harbor, or did they have a justification in their mind?
No, they had an expansionist policy. They were trying to take over parts of Asia.
The reason
and the world.
reason that they bombed Pearl Harbor.
You're telling me they were not an expansionist?
That's
power?
not why they bombed Pearl Harbor. They bombed Pearl Harbor because when the Japanese invaded China, the United States, who like today was the largest producer of oil in the world, put in place an oil embargo against Japan. So they bombed Pearl Harbor in response to the oil embargo we had against Japan for invading China. So what I'm telling you is when people do things, right? Like when the terrorists attacked us on 9/11, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. From their viewpoint, they always have a justification. It doesn't mean that it's right. You know, Ted Bundy. You know who Ted Bundy was? The serial killer?
Yeah.
Okay, he killed a lot of girls. And before he was executed, all over the country, he killed girls all over the country. He was executed here in Florida. I was in high school when it happened, and he gave a lot of interviews before he was executed. And he had a justification for all the killings. Do you know what he said?
I'm sure he justified it.
He justified it. He said, well, what he would do is he would trick girls to get into his car. He said, they got into my car. You know, so when people do murderous things, whether it's the Japanese of Pearl Harbor, the terrorist on 9/11, or Ted Bundy, they always have a justification. It doesn't mean that it's a legit justification.
Hey, man, you could dislike what Piker said. You could not agree with it. But to make him the focus of a campaign is diabolical.
Well, it's because because everywhere you see Abdul, you see Hassan Piker. He had a party on Monday night that he invited him to. Personal party. He's like his top guy.
That's not his top guy either. I mean, yes, they are acquainted with each other.
No, they're not. They're best friends.
Mike Rogers, they're really not best friends. I mean, Fox News is having a whole meltdown over Hassan Piker, which is hilarious. It's actually giving him more fame.
Did you see when Hassan Piker? Did you see when he abused his dog?
He doesn't abuse his dog.
He shocked it with electricity. He shocked his dog with electricity.
It's all fictitious.
No, I've seen it.
Propaganda.
Everybody's seen it. He shocked his dog with electricity during one of his live streams.
Those collars are made for dogs.
Those
okay?
collars are made for dogs. My goodness.
You're acting like he made a dog collar to abuse his dog.
He bought an electric dog collar that has a remote control so that he could shock his dog in the neck to control it. That's animal abuse in the United States.
Right. Some dogs, you can buy that for your dog at the pet store. You know that, right?
There's a lot of things you can buy, but it's still animal abuse in the eyes of Americans. He says we deserve 9/11. He abuses animals. I mean, what can this guy do that would get you to condemn him?
Okay, so
he said Hassan Piker said that they're bringing non-white people into the country to impregnate all the white women to eliminate the white race.
Okay, so this guy's a streamer. He's a young guy.
But he's on the campaign trail with Ahmed and endorses him.
I have never heard you once call out Nick Fuentes in your
all the time. Then you're not listening. Nick Fuentes is fake. He's a deep state operative. Nick Fuentes. He's fake. He's not MAGA or conservative.
Okay, it doesn't matter what he is. I'm talking about what he said, and he had dinner with Donald Trump.
No, he did not have dinner with Donald Trump. He knows this is a pivot to another topic. I'll tell you what happened. Before he was famous, Kanye, he made his way in with Kanye West. Kanye West, when Trump wasn't president, showed up unannounced at Mar-a-Lago. President Trump let him in, and he had an entourage, and Nick Fuentes was there
will you
snuck
call that
in.
Out that he let him in?
No, he didn't let in Nick Fuentes. He didn't know who he was. He wasn't even famous yet. He snuck in. He snuck in with Kanye. He was in Kanye's entourage.
Oh, my God, dude. You're coping so hard right now.
No, I'm just informed. Hey, listen, appreciate the call, man. I'm just informed. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Brian. Danielle calling from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
Good morning.
I mean, you see how far Democrats have to go? The last guy I just talked to had to support the shocking dogs with electricity to support his guy here. I mean, it's just bizarre.
These people are crazy, but the gentleman that called, the one from Michigan that said that Rogers is going to lose by double digits.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
With all due respect. Yeah, okay, with all due respect, where is he living? Underground? That's not going to be the case in Michigan. people are up in arms in Michigan right now, Brian. So I don't really know what he's listening to or where he's at, but
Fantasyland.
yeah, no, Fantasyland. They all are, and you know what? The closer we get, and they're just getting crazier and crazier.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to expose themselves soon enough. Is what's going to end up happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in Michigan, you know, and John James too, he's really, I'm hearing that he's doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And people know that Benson is a criminal.
Yeah.
And we're all waiting for the criminality to come out on her. And it's a matter of time. But Michigan is a great state and with great people, and we are awake. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that guy is coming from, but to each their own, you know, crazy.
Mm-hmm. La La Land.
Crazy. And hey, one other thing real quick. I thought I read that one of Jill Biden's people just
Jill Biden, yeah,
supported
yeah, Jill Biden's former press secretary endorsed Mike Rogers.
Yeah.
That's how bad. That's how bad
People are
Ahmed is.
People are seeing how crazy this is all getting,
Mm-hmm.
and people are getting a little fearful, and people are standing up. So keep the faith. You have a beautiful Sunday with your family.
All right,
God bless you all.
All right, take care. Take care. Yeah, you're all welcome to call in. All opinions are welcome. Okay. And the number is toll free no matter where you're tuned in from, and it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Toll free call, 888-465-2631. Here's some more audio of Ahmed. This is from 2018, which is not all that long ago. He's heavier here. This is before he started working out and lost all the weight. And he's speaking to the Michigan Press Association. Let me okay, and here he goes. Let me fast forward to when he comes up, and Governor Whitmer is on this stage with him when he's speaking.
You can get your 30 seconds first. So I grew up in this state.
Oh, by the way, Bruce just gifted 10 memberships. Thanks, Bruce, for those membership gifts. Okay, so here's Ahmed in Michigan on stage with Governor Whitmer.
So I grew up in this state. And you can imagine going to school with a name like mine, you get a fair share of bullying. The fact is that I just don't pay attention to bullies. It's not worth it. But here's the thing. One of the biggest frustrations that I've had.
You know, with these Hassan Piker, him, it's like that October 7th. Every conversation, every speech begins with how they've been victimized, right? They've been bullied. They've been this. They've been that. It's always they're the victim, right? All right, back to it.
So I grew up in this state. And you can imagine going to school with a name like mine, you get a fair share of bullying. The fact is that I just don't pay attention to bullies. It's not worth it. But here's the thing. One of the biggest frustrations that I've had is that the assumption that there should be some sort of association between me and some dastardly group functions simply on the fact that I choose to pray a particular way. It is implicitude that is used to raise the scepter that has everything to do with context. Now, here's the thing. What frustrates me more is not that you have blatant racism on the part of certain people. But what frustrates me more is, in the words of Martin Luther King, is that one of the most dangerous aspects is not when bad people speak out, it's when good people fail to speak out. And what I have not heard is the Republicans on this panel decisively and swiftly call out this kind of Islamophobia.
See, it's all about how they're the victims, right? Islamophobia, bullied, all these code words.
This kind of racism in the context, right, that they are running to represent a state that has the highest per capita number of Muslim Americans in the country. Now, you might not hate Muslims, but I'll tell you, Muslims definitely hate you.
You heard he said, you may not hate Muslims, I guess that's Muslims, but they definitely hate you. See what he said there at the end?
In the context, right, that they are running to represent a state that has the highest per capita number of Muslim Americans in the country. Now, you might not hate Muslims, but I'll tell you, Muslims definitely hate you.
Wow. And Governor Whitmer's on stage with him when he said it. You know, see, this is the thing. Everything that's been said about Ahmed are in his own words. In his own words. Here's another one. Listen to this. This is a speech he gave speaking to CARE, Council of American Islamic Relations. All right, listen to this.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Oh my goodness.
About events that I remember because I was an adult when they happened. And that was question 755. When the state of Oklahoma voted in a referendum to amend the Constitution to ban Sharia law. What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah, well, to outlaw Sharia law, that's what it means. So, I mean, here he is saying that Muslims hate Americans. Here he is, you know, and those of you out there who make fun of a lot of conservatives who say, hey, you know, they want to bring Sharia law to the United States, and you laugh. Hear how upset he is that it's been outlawed in Oklahoma. He's upset that Sharia law has been outlawed. But I think the president said it best. President Trump, when he was talking about Ahmed, I think the president put it best. This was a couple days ago.
Every time this has happened, and you do that, you go through squalor, and add the word again, filth, crime, death, destruction, embarrassment. You lose your home, you lose your apartment, and that's where the communists will take us 100%. When I watch Abdul, he's full of shit.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, I think the president said it right. I mean, this, you know, the president, he's a plain speaking guy. He says it like it is. But yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, think about that. He's upset that Sharia law has been banned. Well, if they're not trying to bring Sharia law to the United States, why is he upset that they've outlawed something that they don't plan on doing? Here's Senator Fetterman on CNN talking about Ahmed.
Are you willing to unify with Abdul El-Sayed, for example, who's now the Democratic nominee, the Democratic candidate?
Oh, well, yeah, the tough guy. He called me ugly and then I should be on a pike. And I'm like, Chief, I own mirrors. I know I'm an ugly guy. But if you want to put me on a pike, I mean, he has like a little man syndrome kind of energy. And now he was really arrogant in that race. And now he have just found out that, you know, less than a majority of Democrats want him. And he has a serious responsibility between now and November to hold that seat.
So you think he could lose to Mike Rogers?
Oh, 100% that's possible.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Chris, Chicago.
Hey, Chris.
Basically, I don't know why y'all continue to panic, like, over this Abdul guy. Like, he's gaining popularity. It's going to be over for the Republicans, and you know that.
So you're not concerned about him. You want more people like him in government?
No, because the thing right now, currently, okay, Americans are tired, okay? Trump was elected because we needed a change. Trump is the same old thing all over again. He's all this money in these proxy wars and everything else. It's a continuation of the same thing, and people are tired. Okay, and that's why it's nothing right now positive in America that he's doing. Right now, you can't name anything economically that he's doing.
You know,
here we have,
yeah, sure. He's created so many jobs in this country. You know, every deportation.
So what's the average jobs? Every created in the last 12 months.
Every deportation is a job created, and there was a statistic came out. There was an article in Breitbart a couple days ago. The foreign-born men in the workplace is at its lowest level in decades. It's because of the deportations.
In the past 12 months, how many jobs have he created on average? Do you know?
Oh, hundreds of thousands, if not more.
No.
Yeah.
He only created 34,000 jobs.
That's not true.
On the average in the past 12 months.
That's not true. And the reason that's not true at all. That's a made-up number. That's a made-up number.
It's not a made-up number.
Sure.
You could look it up right now. I guarantee you. I want you to look it up on air.
See what they're doing. Hold on a second here. What they're doing, other than just lying like you're doing, what they do is when you look at statisticians.
Oh my goodness.
Well, hey, when you look at statisticians, they count. There's the deportations. Okay, they count those as unemployment numbers, and then when they put the numbers together, they put it together to reduce the actual number. Do you agree? Look at all the truck driving jobs he's created, right? Busting all these.
How many?
Thousands. Truck driving.
No. I need a number. Don't give me no
thousands.
Because according to the Labor Bureau of Statistics, he only created 34,000 jobs on average in the past 12 months. That's it.
Thousands of truck driving jobs alone.
34,000 jobs. This is the lowest of ever. If you compare him to Biden, this is the lowest.
That's not true.
Horrible.
That's not. I mean, you can continue you can continue repeating the lie, and maybe some idiots will believe it if you say it over again. Do you agree? Do you agree with me that President Trump taking these non-citizens that don't speak English off the roads, driving commercial vehicles, every time they do that, that's a truck driving job created, right? Is that a good thing?
Of course it's a good thing.
So he's creating jobs.
If you take a person who can't follow, that's fine. But I'm telling you, under his economy, it's been horrible.
No.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't name one thing. No, hold on.
Every time I name something, and then you say it's not true. Look at all the. He created thousands of jobs alone just with ICE, with all the new agents they recruited.
Once again, only 34,000 jobs.
No, that's not true.
Created per month.
How many? They created. They created thousands of ICE jobs. No, I don't have to.
Okay, I just want to know one thing before you get off the phone. Other than the jobs, other than the stock market, which you always, name, can you give me one other thing that's better for Americans that he has created right now ever since he's been in the presidency? Because everything else is going is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah. He's created life. There are babies born every day that would have been born.
Once again, can you give me another economy? Can you give me something?
Yeah. Oh, yes. No tax on tips. Anyone in the tip economy. Like I went to start.
No tax on tips.
That's correct.
Does that help you?
Well, I don't work for tips.
Exactly. Once again, for the average American, what has he done?
No tax on tips.
What has he done? No tax on
That's
on
big.
tips doesn't
Millions
help me.
of
No tax on tips
it helps millions of people. Sure, it helps you. It helps both of us. We get better service.
No tax on tips help me. I don't work in that. What are you talking about?
You get better service where people work for tips.
You know what's so sad? You can't state nothing on higher wages.
Every time I give you an exam, that's a pay raise. No tax on tips is a raise. No tax on overtime.
Once again,
no tax on overtime.
I'm talking about for the overall economy. You can't state
these are all parts of it.
That's why he don't deserve.
No tax. Excuse me. Hold on a second. No tax on overtime.
That's not helping the everyday average American.
Oh my goodness! Give me an example, and then I give him one, and he doesn't want to accept it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh my goodness!
Hello, my name is Ian. I'm calling from New Jersey.
All right, New Jersey. You're on. Go ahead.
I just have one question. So
Here we go.
title of your stream is that Trump will defeat the DSA. How can Trump defeat the DSA when he's our chief recruiting officer?
The Democrat Socialist of America.
Yeah, Trump is our best guy.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's our best man. He's the best one we got.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he opens his mouth, we get 500 new members.
There's three polls that were just being reported this morning and yesterday in Michigan that shows that Mike Rogers